Hey guys, Barnyard here from freefaucet.io, and today I'm going to be talking to you about how I became a blockchain developer, and if you're interested, how you can become a blockchain developer as well. So a few people on the Discord have asked me about how I become a blockchain developer. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about how I got interested in software, and then how I changed from just being a regular software developer into becoming a blockchain developer later on in my career. So if you like this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and leave in the comments any questions that you have when you've watched this video as well, and I'll make sure to answer those. And let's get right into the video now. So basically, how did I become a blockchain developer? Well, first of all, I finished school. I finished my year 12, and I did a little bit of software development in the final year of my schooling. I did some work in Visual Basic, which is basically like a super easy entry-level GUI version of the basic programming language. And this is where I really got my first taste of programming. And I hadn't done any programming before then, and I had a teacher at the time who really wasn't particularly good at programming. In fact, I'm not even sure they knew how to code at all, but the programming was in as a part of the syllabus, and we were all told in the class to start learning how to use Visual Basic, as we were going to have to make a project at the end of the year, and that was going to really heavily be weighted in our final grade for that course. So I decided to make a lottery style game as part of my final project, and learning Visual Basic without any help was a real big challenge for me, and it was also a lot of fun. And it was really the first time I really learned how to learn and learn how to find my own way in finding knowledge for anything really. So programming, this first taste of programming was not only a really good experience because it was fun, but it also really helped me learn how to teach myself something, because our teacher didn't really know what they were doing when it came to programming. So that's where I really got my first taste of programming, and after that I knew, well, I want to be a software developer as a full-time job in the future. So after I finished my year 12, I applied for computer science, software engineering, IT, and a few other IT related courses at various universities in my city. And I actually did quite badly at school. I got a score of 51.8 out of 100 for my final year 12 score, which is just very, very slightly above average, but not a particularly good score if you're wanting to enter university. So after I did that, I got straight into a course at university, a low-end IT course at a not very good university in my area. And basically I did 2 years there, didn't do particularly well, to be honest, and decided to move somewhere else and do a more difficult course, which was going to be computer science. And that really didn't make any sense at the time, because I wasn't doing well at all in my IT course, but I thought, well, I'm not really enjoying the non-programming side of IT, so I might as well just go into a pure mathematical and programming course, and maybe I'll enjoy that a little bit more. And it turned out that I did, and I really enjoyed computer science and the mathematics behind computer science in my degree. So when I was in my degree at university, I was also working part-time for a finance company called ADVFN, and that really helped me learn a lot about the programming world, and also about how to work with other people and work with other programmers, and how to use version control and all that sort of stuff. And actually, that really helped me a lot more than the university course ever did at becoming a good programmer. And I really don't think that if you want to become a software developer that you have to go to university. In fact, if I was to do it all over again, I absolutely would not go to university. I would do maybe a coding boot camp or something like that, and contribute to a whole bunch of open source projects, and then get a job from showcasing my ability rather than showing that I have a degree. So as I was working at university, getting my computer science degree, in the second year I did a maths course which was completely to do with cryptography and security and things like that, and I got really interested in how cryptography worked in general. And this would have been probably in around 2013 or 2014, really before Bitcoin took off or anything like that. But I definitely thought that that course was really interesting, and I was particularly interested in the nature of one-way hashing, and how it was very easy to hash one value one way, but then it was very difficult to get that value back to the original value unless you had a secret which untangled the entire thing. That's sort of how cryptography works. That's how one-way hashing works on a lot of back-end servers for password storage and things like that. And it's how Bitcoin works and how SHA-256 works in the Bitcoin protocol. So that was really interesting. I really enjoyed that course. I stumbled my way through my university degree and basically just passed by this much. I didn't really do very well at university at all, to be honest, but I did manage to get my degree. And there was a saying at my university, which is P's get degrees. And essentially what that means is if you get a P, which is the lowest pass mark for that course, as long as you got lots of those P's, you would pass and inevitably get your degree. So if I'm honest, I didn't do particularly well at most of my university, but I did do quite well in the cryptography and the mathematics side of things, and I really also enjoyed the algorithms and the course advanced algorithms that I did in the third year of my course. So I finished my university course, I got my degree, and this was about 3 or 4 years after I finished high school, and I've been working for ADVFN, which is a finance company, as a junior software developer for about the same time, about 2 or 3 years. So after I did that and finished my degree, I decided to get a full-time job and leave ADVFN, and then I joined a startup company, which was, again, a really helpful experience because when you work at a startup, you get a whole bunch of skills that you may not get if you worked at a big company. You're given a lot more hats to wear, you've got a lot more different tasks to do. If you're going to be hired by a really big company, let's say somewhere like Google or Netflix or Microsoft, you're probably not going to have a huge amount of flexibility with all the different tasks that you're going to be doing. But when I joined the startup, it was just me and 2 other developers at the time. So I was tasked with things like making mobile apps in C#, I had to do web development in HTML and JavaScript, I had to do backend stuff in MySQL and regular MS SQL, I had to do a whole bunch of other stuff. We were doing Python scripts, we were doing Bash, we were using Windows and Mac and Linux, and everything under the sun we were doing. And that really helped me get a feel of all the things that I really enjoyed doing in software development and some of the things that I maybe didn't enjoy that much. And this job was really good and it really helped me hone my skills, but the pay wasn't very good and also the hours weren't very flexible and it just wasn't the ideal position that I wanted, and it wasn't the career that I wanted to follow in general. So after I finished up there, I got another job at a place called Knight Frank, which is a real estate company, which I actually worked at for 2 solid days and quit. And this job was just the worst job I've ever had in my life. My entire job, I just sat there and did absolutely nothing for 2 days. And not because I didn't want to, but because I was assigned absolutely no tasks for these 2 days that I was working there. So I sat down there for the first day and I had a chat with the lead developer and I said, look, I'm super excited about this job. Please give me all the things I need to get going and I am going to jump right into the code and get started. And essentially, they didn't assign me anything to do for 2 whole days. So for 16 hours over these 2 days, all I did all day was sat at my computer looking at the very small bits of code that I was allowed to see because they hadn't given me any of the passwords or anything so I could get into the source code and start having a look. I just sat there reading over a few lines of code and then twiddling my thumbs because I had absolutely nothing to do. So after I quit that job, which was seriously the most boring 16 hours of my life, I thought to myself, what do I really, really want to do now with my career and how do I want to move forwards with my software development career and do something that I really enjoy and something that I have the ability to progress and grow in my position and sort of grow in the company and just have somewhere that I can hone my skills, have a great time doing it and also get a reasonable pay as well. So this was in around 2016, and this is where Bitcoin really started to show a little bit of promise. People were starting to get interested in making ICOs, people were starting to get interested in making other cryptocurrencies in a big way. And I was presented with the opportunity to help create a cryptocurrency. And when I was asked to do this with a few other people, I really got excited because I'd really enjoyed the cryptography side of my course at university. I'd really enjoyed how the mathematics worked, and I'd already heard about Bitcoin before because in 2010, 2011, when I was just finishing high school, one of my friends at high school at the time introduced me to a website called Silk Road, and they showed me how they bought Ritalin on the dark web to help them finish their year 12 and first year university exams. So I knew a little bit about Bitcoin. I jumped on the dark web before and just had a look around. Never used Bitcoin before, never bought anything with Bitcoin, but I did know what it was. So when in 2016 I was approached and asked if I wanted to join a new startup and start making some cryptocurrency, this was super, super exciting to me. But I really didn't know anything about how Bitcoin worked on a technical level, and I was still not that sure even on a high level how Bitcoin worked. So I was assigned the task of creating a cryptocurrency, and I was able to choose how I was going to create this cryptocurrency. I could choose what software we forked, or if I wanted to make my own software. All of that sort of stuff was left to me. And I was really out of my depth because I had absolutely no idea how any of this stuff worked at the time. So what I decided to do is I jumped onto the internet and I found something called the Bitcoin Developer Reference. And essentially what I did was, this is like a 500-page document outlining exactly on a technical level how the Bitcoin protocol works, how everything works, how mining works, how Merkle trees work, nonces work, how blocks work, the specifications of blocks, all the different opcodes, all the different BIPs proposals. Everything that you could think of was in this Bitcoin Developer Reference. And as you can imagine, it was super technical and very difficult to read because it was so dry and long-winded and technical. And I'm going to leave in the description a link to the Bitcoin Developer Reference because reading this document was the reason why I could keep this job as a Bitcoin blockchain developer. And it really helped me hone my skills as a cryptocurrency developer and set the foundations for becoming the lead developer of online blockchain. So I sat at home and for 3 weeks I read every single page of the Bitcoin Developer Reference word for word, and after every single page I would quiz myself on how it worked. And essentially what I did was I locked myself in my room and just said, I have to do this now for 10 hours a day until it's finished and until I know exactly how Bitcoin works on a technical level. So that took a few weeks of solid work, and it really did fry my brain for a few weeks afterwards, but it was probably the best thing I've ever done in my life because it really gave me a sound technical expertise on Bitcoin and on cryptocurrency in general. So once I had all of this knowledge and I was able to start making cryptocurrency, I made my first cryptocurrency for this company. And now this company, Online Blockchain, has a multitude of cryptocurrencies and a multitude of cryptocurrency projects, which I now manage. So after I did this, I made a cryptocurrency. I then made a mobile wallet for the cryptocurrency. I made a whole bunch of other cryptocurrency softwares for this cryptocurrency. And at the moment, I am managing all of these other cryptocurrency softwares and cryptocurrencies for Online Blockchain. So what can we take away from my story, and how do I think you could do this yourself and become a cryptocurrency developer yourself? Well, I really think that the most important thing that you can do to become a cryptocurrency developer is not going to university. It's not doing any particular coding bootcamp. It's not getting any particular qualifications. It's just jumping into the code and getting involved in open source projects and skilling yourself up in any way that you can. I don't know many university courses which offer cryptocurrency as a subject, but it might be interesting doing something like a non-award study for just the cryptocurrency subjects and then doing all of the learning yourself in your own time. Because really, the best way to get expertise and knowledge is to just get your hands dirty and start jumping into the code and working things out for yourself. So if you want to get hired as a cryptocurrency developer, from my experience, people are not looking for university degrees, they're not looking for qualifications, they're looking for people that have proven that they have knowledge in the cryptocurrency space, and they prove this by having GitHub repositories full of open source projects that they have helped on, things like that. So projects that they can showcase in interviews and things like that. So don't worry so much about getting a university degree. It certainly helped me lay a foundation on software and how it works, but I really don't think it's important in the world of cryptocurrency development to get, you don't need to get a degree. And it might be helpful in other areas of software development, particularly if you want to work somewhere like Microsoft or Google. But for cryptocurrency development, it's all about having a massive portfolio of projects that you've worked on in the past. So if you want to become a cryptocurrency developer, what would I suggest that you start doing if you have absolutely no programming experience at all and just don't know where to get started and want to make that first step? Well, the first thing that I would do if I was you is I would learn a programming language. And for cryptocurrency development, the programming language you really want to know is C++, but that's a very difficult programming language to start with because you have to deal with memory management, pointers, a whole bunch of other crazy stuff that you don't have to manage if you're using something like JavaScript. So Ethereum is a really popular cryptocurrency, and there are a lot of libraries such as Web3 that use JavaScript to interact with the blockchain. And JavaScript is a super easy language to start with. It teaches you all of the important foundations of how software development should work and some good computer science practices, but you don't need to worry about the super low-end things like memory management, pointers, and all that kind of stuff. So I would recommend that you look up The New Boston on YouTube, a guy called Bucky Roberts. He has a fantastic JavaScript tutorial, and it takes you really from the very, very basics up to a good intermediate level, and you'll learn a whole bunch of stuff quite quickly. So I'll leave in the description that JavaScript tutorial package. It's a whole bunch of tutorials. I think there's probably like 100 of them, maybe even more. He also has a whole bunch of other videos like C++ tutorials, that kind of thing. So I would definitely recommend him if you're just getting started in the software development area and really need to learn how to code before you jump into specializing in cryptocurrency development. If you want to become a cryptocurrency and blockchain developer and you already have software development experience, I would recommend, as I did, to look at some of the developer references for Bitcoin, for Monero, for Ethereum, things like that, and really just put in the time and grind out those step-by-step, sentence-by-sentence, massive references, and just learn by reading it and reading it and reading it until you've finished reading it and you have all that knowledge. Once you've read a few massive references and you really understand on a high level how all of that stuff works, on a technical level as well, but not at a programming level, how all of the protocols work for these very popular cryptocurrencies, I would then recommend that you get on GitHub and start looking through the code and actually seeing how they work at a software development level. If you look at the Bitcoin core library, the main Bitcoin software suite for interacting with the Bitcoin blockchain, the code, the C++ in that particular coding software suite is absolutely beautiful. The code is really well formatted. It's all very easy to understand. It's super well referenced. So the Bitcoin core, in my opinion, is the best place to start looking if you already know how to code, you already know a little bit about C++, and you really want to start learning how the Bitcoin core works, how the Bitcoin blockchain works, and how blockchains in general work. So that is where I would start. If you're not interested in Bitcoin development and you want to do stuff like ERC20 contracts, you want to learn how the Ethereum blockchain works, I'm going to leave some references in the description for you, and I would also check out Dapp University, which is another YouTube channel which specializes in Ethereum and also how to code on the ERC20 framework and on the Ethereum blockchain. So those are a few places that you should start if you're interested in getting into blockchain development and cryptocurrency development in general. So once you've done a little bit of reading, you've had a look around, and you've looked at all the things I've linked in the description, then I would recommend that you actually make your own cryptocurrency by forking another cryptocurrency. And I would personally recommend forking Bitcoin because I think it's quite an easy coin to fork. It's also quite well documented. There's a lot of other cryptocurrencies that have forked it, so you can go into the GitHub repos, go back a few commits and see how everyone else has done it and do it yourself. And once you've learned how to mine a Genesis block and things like that, because those pieces of code are no longer in the Bitcoin source code because they are no longer used. So you actually do have to learn a little bit about how to mine Genesis blocks, and you'll have a little bit of troubleshooting to do and a big boundary to get over to really fork your own cryptocurrency in that way. So that is a good place to start if you're wanting to learn how to make cryptocurrencies and how to make blockchains and how all that stuff works. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. I know it was a long one. Please let me know in the comments if you have any questions about anything in this video, or if you would like some more resources, I can definitely send you those as well. Make sure to subscribe and also leave a like and hit that bell if you did enjoy this, because I'm going to be making a lot more content like this in the future about cryptocurrencies, blockchains, and decentralized applications. Now, if you want to learn a bit about how to start making decentralized applications, I can also make a video about IPFS and how all that works, and a little bit about the technicalities of how decentralized systems are set up. Let me know in the comments if you want to see that as well. And finally, if you would like to get some free cryptocurrency, head over to freefaucet.io to claim a multitude of different cryptocurrencies 3 times a day, absolutely for free. Link in the description. So once again, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.